All right. I'm Tanya Hamilton with Urban Haven Real Estate Group, and Kelly Pocock with Urban Haven is also here today. And today we're hosting Jenn McLean from Mortgage Pal, and she is going to talk about the BRRR method. And now we do have another webinar that Jenn hosted on the Smith maneuver, which is also about building wealth through real estate strategies. So if you have 20 minutes or so, it was a super informative and awesome webinar. So check it out. I'll put the link in this video. But thanks, Jenn, for joining us, and I'll hand it over to you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me again. I love talking about strategy as a mortgage broker. I think there's a lot of opportunities for people to really build something rather than just, trying to pay a mortgage down. There's just so many things that we can do with real estate. And so today I want to talk about I could just say BRRR because I don't want to say 4 R's. So it's the BRRR method, which is buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. This is what we call the holy grail for real estate investors who want to grow fast without constantly injecting fresh capital. So this is today's program. It's really not about just cycling cash. It's about doing it all strategically. So today I'm going to go through, kind of explore 3 practical deep dives, the common BRRR mistakes and how to avoid them, the ideal timeline for each phase of a deal, and then the key formulas every investor, sorry, my dog is barking, the investor should know before pulling the trigger and on this strategy. So that's what we're going to go do today. Okay, so this is a very powerful strategy for building a real estate portfolio without constantly injecting new capital, but it's certainly not foolproof. For first-time investors, a few wrong moves can really derail the entire cycle, which can lead to things like missed refinance windows, disappointing returns, or deals that just flat out don't work. And I think for anyone who's experienced real estate investment in the past, everybody learns some lessons the hard way. So the idea is to really be thoughtful and strategic about trying to put yourself in a position where you're not going to have to learn by mistakes made. So here's the 7 traps that will trip up new BRRR investors and how to steer clear of them. First is overconfidence in property value. It's really easy to get carried away on optimistic comps and high after renovation value projections, but lenders and appraisers won't necessarily share your enthusiasm if the data doesn't back it up. So always base your numbers on conservative, well-matched comparable data. So this means similar size, condition, age, and not those shiny flips 3 streets over with an extra bedroom and a pool. The next is loose rehab planning. By rehab, I mean the renovation. So renovation budgets tend to expand in real time. If you've ever renovated a property, you know this, especially when surprises crop up mid-project. So if you're doing a rushed walkthrough or you get vague contractor estimates, that can leave you scrambling for cash at the end. Lock in detailed bids before your closing date. Build in at least 10 to 15% of a buffer for the unexpected costs. And walking the property with a qualified home inspector up front can also save you a world of regret and unexpected costs. 3, sloppy tenant placement. Trying to fill a unit fast just to show that you've got rental income for the refinance is a very rookie move. A bad tenant isn't just a short-term headache. They can kill your refinance or wreck your long-term cash flow. So take the time to properly screen every applicant. Even better, hire a property manager worth their chops to do it for you. A solid tenant will make for a smoother financing process and fewer midnight repair calls. 4, refinance timing gone wrong. Some investors assume they can refinance the moment the rehab is done. This is not the case. Many lenders impose what they call a seasoning period. This is often somewhere between 6 to 12 months before they allow a cash out based on the new appraised value. So this delay could leave you stuck in a costly bridge finance situation. So really, it's important to work with your mortgage broker to find lenders that are not going to necessarily refinance based on the purchase price, but that will allow the refinance to be based on the as improved value of the property. Otherwise, you have to extend your timeline and wait out that 6 to 12 months before you can actually get approved for a refinance based on that new value. 5 is underestimating holding costs. So while your property sits empty during renovation, or while you're waiting for tenants, or you're stuck in the refinance process, that meter keeps running. You're paying loan interest, you're paying insurance, property taxes, and utilities. All of that's going to eat into your return. So budget for a few extra months of holding costs right from the start so you're not caught off guard. 6, poor appraisal preparation. I see this all the time for people who are getting appraisals done for refinance. You might have put $50,000 into a renovation, but if the value isn't obvious to the appraiser, it might not count because appraisers are using comparable sales data. They might not take into account all the work that's been done on this particular property. So clean it, stage it, document everything. A well-presented property and a one-pager that highlights all the improvements with before and after photos can help ensure the appraised value reflects the actual upgrades. And 7, stretching the recycle too far. So basically, it's tempting to pull out every dollar of equity out of each deal to fund the next one. But we have to take into account considerations like market conditions would shift, interest rates might rise, rents will soften, or vacancies increase. And that can leave a real estate investor overexposed. So leave some equity in the property if the numbers are tight. Long-term success in the BRRR strategy comes from durability, not necessarily speed. So final thought here, the BRRR strategy works, but only when each piece of the puzzle is executed with care. Play the long game, use conservative numbers, build in your buffers, and definitely don't cut corners when it comes to tenants or the lenders that you're working with. Recycling capital is great, but protecting it is how you're going to be able to stay in the game. So the BRRR method isn't just about what you do, it's when you do it. Poor timing, that can erode your profits and drag out your project. So when every phase flows seamlessly into the next, you reduce your holding costs, you accelerate velocity, and you're able to unlock faster portfolio growth. So here's how to keep your timeline tight and your returns strong. Phase 1 is buy. That's going to happen generally weeks 0 to 4. Start with the right foundation, an undervalued property, and financing secured in advance. Don't wait until after closing to line up your team. Get your lender, your contractor, your insurance in place before possession date. Most momentum killing delays happen right after the deal closes. 2, phase 2, rehab. This should happen between weeks 4 and 10. Speed and budget discipline win here. Order materials early, book your subcontractors in advance. Even basic cosmetic jobs can spiral if you don't manage timelines tightly. Every extra day eats into your bottom line. Phase 3, rent. This should happen in weeks 9 to 12. Start pre-leasing before the renos wrap. Use clean professional photos, price competitively to secure a tenant by the time the paint dries. The faster you're able to lease the property, the faster your refinance math works. Phase 4, refinance. This would ideally happen between weeks 12 to 16. Timing matters more than most realize. So choose the lenders with flexible seasoning periods, as I mentioned before, and prep the appraisal like you're selling the home. Clean it, stage it, support the comps and receipts. This is when you're going to get your capital back, so don't wing it. Phase 5, repeat. So this will happen after you've finished your refinance. This is where the momentum compounds return. Have your next lead list warming while your current project closes out. The best BRRR investors are always 2 steps ahead with the deal in motion before the refinance check clears. So a sample timeline here for just to kind of see what is going to be included in these different phases. So the buy phase, we're going to do financing, inspection, and your closing date. Rehab, that's the contractor execution. So that's when all the renovations are occurring. Rent, you're going to have your pre-market and lease up. Refinance, that's going to include your appraisal and the closing on that real estate transaction. And then have your next property lined up by the time you get to that week 16. So BRRR rewards the well-prepared. When each phase transitions cleanly into the next, your capital stays active and your portfolio compounds faster. Start with the refinance date in mind and build your process backward to keep that flywheel turning. Okay, so now for the math. These are the formulas that every investor should know before they're buying. It's not driven by emotion, it's powered by math. So from acquisition to refinance, your success will hinge on a few essential formulas. And mastering these numbers helps you evaluate deals confidently and avoid overpaying and stay on track to hit your returns. So I'm going to break down the BRRR math that separates good investors from lucky ones. First one is the 70% rule, or buy smart. So you're going to take your after renovation value times 70% minus your rehab cost. That's going to give you your maximum purchase price. Why does this matter? Well, it keeps the profit margin and ensures that you can recover most of your capital at the refinance time. So for an example, let's say your ARV is $300,000, you put in $30,000 of rehab costs. That would mean your max purchase price should be no more than $180,000. Okay, the next one is all-in cost versus after renovation value or your exit readiness. So you're going to add up your purchase cost, your rehab, your holding costs, and closing costs. Divide all of that by your after reno value. That's going to give you your investment ratio. The target is to stay at or below 75%, and that's your path to pulling out most or all of your capital. Number 3 is the 1% rule, or the quick cash flow filter. So this is where you're going to take your monthly rent and it should be equal to or greater than the 1% of the purchase price. So this is just a real quick and dirty calculation to help you screen for cash flow potential. If it fails here, dig deeper or move on. And this one is one we use all the time, debt service coverage ratio, or a DSCR. So this is basically really simple: net operating income divided by monthly mortgage payment. Your minimum threshold, most lenders require a DSCR of at least 1.2, some are 1, to approve a rental property loan. So it's also good to check on your property's debt capacity by doing this. The next is a refinance loan amount. So basically we're taking your after renovation value multiplied by your refinance loan to value. Typically that's a maximum of 75%. And that's going to give you your maximum loan amount on the refinance. It basically just tells you how much equity is available after the value add is complete. And then cash on cash return. This is basically your pre-refinance return on investment. So you take your annual cash flow divided by your cash invested, and that's going to give you your rate of return. This is a crucial metric that's going to evaluate how well your money performs before the refinance. And I believe this is the last one, break even rent after refinance. So again, you're going to take your monthly expense divided by your rent. That's your break even ratio. Why this matters? Well, it's going to keep your post refinance numbers sustainable. The lower this ratio, the better your buffer. So putting this all together, let's use just a really quick example. So let's say you buy a property for $170,000. You put in $30,000 of rehab. So your total investment is $200,000. The after repair value is going to be $280,000. And so when it's time to refinance, 75% of that ARV gives you a refinance mortgage loan of $210,000. So you've recovered nearly all of your capital And that's the BRRR method in motion: de-risked, repeatable, ready for the next deal. So the BRRR formula is it's a formula first framework. These calculations are your early warning system. So if your and also your green light indicators. So if the numbers don't work, the deal doesn't work. Use the math, ditch the emotion, and scale smart. So if you want to learn more, or you'd like a copy of the BRRR playbook for your own, reach out to me. You can also connect with Tanya and Kelly, and they can put you in touch with me too. I know formulas, you're not going to memorize them, so I'm happy to provide those in digital format for you if you're interested in this strategy for yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Amazing.
That is
Now,
amazing.
before we jump to questions, we're just going to hop off for anybody online. So as Jen said, if you want digital resources, you can contact her at the contact information here, or reach out to us directly and we'll put you in contact with Jen. Hope you have a great day and look forward to the next webinar.
Thanks so much, guys.